My word. Congratulations to Crystal Palace, the Emirates FA Cup winners 2025. Crystal Palace have won a trophy for the first time in their history. And I'm going to say it right now. Congratulations to Crystal Palace. We got Pep Guardiola at the end of this game getting angry, waving his finger at Dean Henderson. I don't know what Henderson said. And to be fair, I'm a Chelsea fan making a video today about Palace's greatest ever moment. But I will say this. This is beautiful, what we have witnessed today at Wembley. You got Palace fans in streams of tears who have never known what it is like to actually win a major honour. This is incredible. Crystal Palace today, they did it ugly, but it was just marvellous to watch this game of football, to see Man City, one of those teams, and look, I'm a Chelsea fan, all right? I complain about the way that we play. I want us to win. But to see Man City get done today by a team hitting a long ball, counter-attacking, having a proper striker, bring the ball down, I love it. Everything about this Crystal Palace victory today, I love it. I know that it might not be great news for Chelsea if we capitulate next week and we end up finishing in a position that could have been a Europa League place if Man City would have won it today. But look, this is a victory for football, in my opinion. Man City have been dominant for years, but this is Palace's moment. Today is all about them. I'm delighted for you. Honestly, this is my little segment on the internet where I can say congratulations to Crystal Palace fans, because to see what it means to them as somebody who grew up being forced to watch the FA Cup finals, even if Chelsea weren't in it. I say forced. You can never be forced to watch football. That sounds awful. I loved it. But my family always had the FA Cup final on. There was always a barbecue that weekend. I've seen Chelsea lift it multiple times. It's always a glorious day, and it hurts so much if you don't win it. But to see Palace win that first ever trophy, and I'm watching the scenes right now as I film this video, absolutely remarkable. Congratulations. But let's get into the football a little bit. So let's start off with that first half, and I'd say it's all about two players really for Crystal Palace, as well as it was a collective team effort. I'm going to talk predominantly here about Eze and also Dean Henderson, and maybe Munoz can be in that conversation as well. As you would expect in sort of the first 6-7 minutes of the game, Man City start to get control of the possession. Crystal Palace are happy to just kind of sit back in their own half a little bit, soak things up slightly. And I'd say that if you're Erling Haaland running through the middle for Man City, it's obviously an incredibly attacking Manchester City team. But when you're a striker like Erling Haaland, surely you want to have a couple of feeler crosses into the box. There was only really one moment where Haaland gets on the end of a Kevin De Bruyne cross, and it's one of those quintessential Haaland moments where most strikers wouldn't even bother. Haaland manages to stretch those long limbs, gets on the end of it, makes a good connection with his left foot. Dean Henderson gets down well and makes the save. At this point in the game, Crystal Palace weren't really able to get into the Man City half. They were attempting those long balls that they so often do to Mateta, who's brilliant at bringing the ball down, getting his back into opposition defenders, and that is how Crystal Palace score the opening goal. Mateta brings it down. Munoz, who is a right back, who is absolutely underrated in the Premier League, full of energy, never stops running. He bombs forward, makes the run out wide, and puts the ball low and hard with one of those marauding runs across the box. And guess who it is on the end of it? Eberechi Eze running onto the ball, and he scores for the 5th consecutive game. He was monstrous in the semi-final for Crystal Palace in that dominant win against Aston Villa to get them here. And look, it's a brilliant goal. It's against the run of play, but it's exactly how Oliver Glasner would have known this game was going to go. Rattled Manchester City, to be quite honest. And then minutes later, we almost see an exact replica. Munoz again, getting down the right-hand side, drilling the ball across the face of the goal. Ismail Assar gets on the end of it, and Ortega gets down and makes a really good save. The second big moment of that first half is the penalty. There is a moment of jeopardy and debate about, did Henderson handle the ball outside the box? Could Haaland have run on? Would he have rounded the keeper and scored? Probably yes. But these moments in football, sometimes you need these things to go your way. The penalty. Now, this is absolutely fascinating. Erling Haaland, you'd expect him to take it, has never scored in 5 matches at Wembley for Man City before, but no, he's given the ball to Omar Marmoush. And I've seen this from a guy called Alexander on X, and he puts a shot map which basically shows you the shots of Omar Marmoush. And most of the time, as you guys can see here, Marmoush, as a right footer, is going to go across his body and go down to the bottom left or to the left-hand side of the goalkeeper. And he absolutely does it again. Dean Henderson, this is a magnificent penalty save. It's not like it's not hit very hard. It isn't as though he has hit this and it's not going in the corner. It's absolutely going in the corner. And Dean Henderson has done his research. He's done his homework. He gets down and makes a quite remarkable save. And another stat that absolutely blows my mind about Dean Henderson, he has saved 41% of the penalties that he's faced in his career, which is about 20% more than an average goalkeeper would save when it comes to penalties faced. This is unbelievable. What a save. 38 minutes into the match. And we're talking about a Man City team that have passed the ball in the final third 122 times compared to 17 for Crystal Palace. But this is where the love of football and the way that you can win in so many different ways comes into the tale of this match, because Crystal Palace, they don't care about having possession of the ball. What they care about is having a brilliant striker like Mateta that can hold up the ball, runners that are willing to do the work like Sarr, Eze, and then you've got Mitchell, Munoz, always willing to do the up and down work from the fullbacks phenomenally. The only stat they care about is the fact that they're beating Man City at Wembley in an FA Cup final. And look, Crystal Palace fans, this is your day. And all of the pictures, the celebrations in the crowd, this is why the FA Cup needs to remain a competition that everybody takes seriously. Crystal Palace have got the fact they're going to Wembley again in their ex-bio on flipping Twitter. This is such an incredible day for Crystal Palace fans, and that first half for me, when I've been making these videos about Palace on More GBFC, we've spoken obviously about Adam Wharton, we've spoken about Glasner, but it's these stories where they've not got the ball, they're not making too many passes in the final third, but they're clinical in those transitions, on the counter, Kamada, Wharton, winning those tackles and getting it forward, knowing where the strengths in the team are. Absolutely brilliant from Crystal Palace. You guys know that we love to take a little look at SofaScore on GBFC, or More GBFC, sorry. Let's take a little look at this game because it was all Manchester City. The whole game just peppering this Crystal Palace defence. And look, Dean Henderson, absolutely unbelievable. In front of flipping Thomas Tuchel as well today, by the way. England's manager will have been absolutely blown away by what we saw from Dean Henderson. And as an England fan as well, right? This is great news that we've got some competition for Jordan Pickford, but he was incredible. I thought Richards was absolutely superb. The whole Crystal Palace backline did so well. Adam Wharton, I made a video about this guy not too long ago, but if he is still at Palace next season, you've got a great chance in Europe, in the Europa League, of going far. Adam Wharton is a player that could actually play, I think, at almost any club. I'm going to say it now. I think he would walk into the Liverpool team and help them get a back-to-back trophy. I think he could play for almost any team in Europe, Adam Wharton, potentially, moving forward. He was magnificent again. Kamada, I thought, was great. Eze obviously scored the goal. And I think it's hard here to avoid talking about Eze because he is the star man. It's difficult or hard to avoid talking about Henderson because he was the man of the match, saved a penalty. But all in all, this team performance, Munoz, unbelievable. Every single man should be so proud in this Crystal Palace team. Mateta, proper striker, holds the ball up, gets involved. It's absolutely remarkable. This is an incredible day for Crystal Palace. Congratulations to them. I know, obviously, as I said at the start of the video, it's maybe not ideal for Chelsea that this has happened, but in terms of a footballing spectacle, this is what we talk about on More GBFC. Smack a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to More GBFC if you are new. And I'll catch you in the next one tomorrow.